Hail, daughters of Zeus, give me sweet song to celebrate the holy race of gods who live forever to infinite endlessness, sons of starry heaven and earth, Gaia and gloomy night and salty sea. Tell how the gods and earth arose at first, and the rivers and the boundless swollen sea, and shining stars in the broad heaven above, and how the gods divided up their wealth, and how they shared their honors and strength, how they first captured Olympus with its many folds. Tell me these things. With with the Helicon muses, let us start our song. They hold the great and godly amount of Helicon, and on their delicate feet they dance around the darkly bubbling spring, and round the altar of mighty Zeus they wash their soft skin in the horse's spring. Or in premises in Ptolemais, then dance fair and graceful on the mountain top and whirl their feet about. Then they rise up, wrapped in a mist, and go at night to hymn with lovely voices Aegeus bearing Zeus, and Lady Hera of Argos. See who goes on golden sandals, and the maid grey-eyed Athena, daughter of Aegeus bearing Zeus, Phoebus, Apollo, Artemis, who delights in arrows, in Poseidon, he who shakes the earth and folds it, Themis, much revered, and Aphrodite, flirting with her eyes, golden crowned Heber, fair Dione, then Leto, and crooked Kronos, Iapetos, Eos, great Helios, bright Selene, Gaia, and mighty ocean, and at last Black Night, and all the other immortal gods who live forever, all that holy race. The muses once thought, learned Hesiod to sing sweet songs while he was shepherding his lambs on holy Helicon. The goddesses Olympian, daughters of Zeus, who holds the Aegeus, first addressed these words to me. You rustic shepherds, shame bellies you are not men. We know enough to make up lies, which are convincing, but we also have the skill. We have a mind to speak the truth. So spoke Thus spoke the fresh-voiced daughters of great Zeus, and plucked and gave the staff to me. A shoot of blooming laurel. Wonderful to see, and breathe a sacred voice into my mouth, with which to celebrate the things to come, the things that are, and things that will be. They ordered me to sing the race of blessed ones who live forever, and to hymn the muses first, and at the end, no more delays. Begin. We start then with the muses who delight with song of the mighty mind of Father Zeus within Olympus, telling of things that are, that will be, and that were, with voices joined in harmony. The sweet sound flows from mouths that never tire. The halls of Father Zeus. The thunderer shine gladly when the pure voice of the goddesses is scattered forth. The echo spreads to snowy Olympus. His peak, the peak of Olympus, and the immortals' home. Then sending out the unearthly music, first they celebrate the august race of firstborn gods whom earth bore to great broad heaven, then their progeny, givers of good things. Next they sing of Zeus, the father of gods and men, how high he is above the other gods, how great in strength. Next, the Olympian muses, daughters of Zeus, who holds the Aegeus, sing the mighty race of giants, and they please the mind of Zeus, the goddess who protects Eleuther's hills. Memory bore them in Peria to the father, son of Kronos, and they bring forgetfulness of evil and rest from pain. Far from the other gods, counselor Zeus entered her holy bed and lay with her 9 nights. And when the proper time arrived, the months declined, and the seasons came around, and many days were finished. She gave birth on snowy Olympus, not far from the peak, to 9 like-minded daughters. Whose one thought is singing, and whose hearts are free from care. There on Olympus, there on Olympus and their lovely homes, their polished dancing floors, and next to them, desire, and the graces have their homes and live in happiness. With their sweet voice they praise the laws and courteous ways of all the immortals, uttering their lovely sound. They went once to Olympus, reveling in their sweet voice. Their heavenly song, black earth echoed around the singer's lovely noise, rose from beneath their feet as they went up to their father. He had become the king of heaven and held the thunder and bright lightning shaft, for he had beaten his father Kronos by force and now divided power among the gods fairly and gave appropriate rank to each. So sang the muses of Olympus, 9 daughters begotten by almighty Zeus. Cleo, Euryterpe, and Melopne, Thea, Erato, Terp is Core, Polymnia, Urania, and most important one of all, Calippo. For she attends upon respected lords. And when the daughters of great Zeus will bring honor upon the heaven-favored Lord, and when they watched him being born, they pour sweet dew upon his tongue. And from his lips flowed honeyed words. All people look to him when he's giving judgment uprightly. And speaking with assurance, he can stop great quarrels sensibly. Wise lords are wise in this. When public harm is being done to the people, they can set things straight with ease, advising with soft words. And when a lord comes into the assembly, he is wooed with honeyed reverence, just like a god, and is conspicuous above the crowd. Such is the muse's holy gift to man. The muses and Apollo, he who shoots far away, bring minstrels to the earth and prayers on the lyre. Lords are from Zeus, and he is lucky whom the muses love. His voice flows sweetly from his mouth, and when a man has sorrow newly on his mind and grieves until his heart is parched within, if a bard, the servant of the muses, sings the glorious deeds the men of old performed, and hymns the blessed ones, Olympian gods, At once that man forgets his heavy heart and has no memory of any grief. So quick the muse's gift diverts his mind. Omne Padme Hail, daughters of Zeus, give me sweet song to celebrate the holy race of gods who live forever. Sons of starry heaven and earth and gloomy night and salty sea, tell how the gods and earth arose at first, and the rivers and the boundless swollen sea and shining stars and the broad heaven above. And how the gods divided up their wealth, and how they shared their honors, how they first captured Olympus with its many folds. Tell me these things, Olympian muses. Tell me from the beginning, which first came to be. Chaos was first of all, but next appeared broad-bosomed earth, sure standing place for all the gods who live in snowy Olympus peak and misty Tartarus, in a recess of broad-paved earth, and love most beautiful of all the deathless gods. He makes man weak. He overpowers the clever mind and tames the spirit in the breasts of man and gods. From chaos came black night. And Oedipus and night in turn gave birth to day and space, whom she conceived in love to Erebus, and earth bore starry heaven, first to be unequal to herself, to cover her all over and to be a resting place, always secure. For all the blessed gods then she brought forth long hills, the lovely homes of goddesses and nymphs who live among the mountain clefts. Then, without pleasant love, she bore the barren sea, with its swollen waves, Pontus, and then she lay with heaven.
So chaos was first of all, but next appeared broad-bosomed earth, sure standing place of all, the gods who live on snowy Olympus peak, and misty Tartarus, in a recess of broad-paved earth, and love, most beautiful, of all the deathless gods. He makes men weak. He overpowers their clever mind, and tames the spirit in the breasts of men and gods. From chaos came black night and Erebus, and night in turn gave birth to day and space. Whom she conceived in love to Erebus, and earth bore starry heaven. First to be an equal to herself, to cover her all over, and to be a resting place, always secure for all the blessed gods. And then she brought forth long hills, the lovely homes of goddesses, the nymphs who live among the mountain clefts. Then, without pleasant love, she bore the barren sea with its swollen waves, Pontus, and then she lay with heaven, and bore deep whirling Oceanos, and Koios, and then Creus, Iapetos, Hyperion, Thea, Rhea, Themis, Memniose, lovely Thetis, and Phoebe, golden crowned. Last, after these most terrible of sons, the crooked, scheming Kronos came to birth, who was his vigorous father's enemy. Again she bore the Cyclopses, whose hearts were insolent, Brontes and Stereopus, and proud-souled Argus, those who found and gave the thunder and the lightning bolt to Zeus. They were like other gods in all respects, but that a single eye that lay in the brow of each, and from this they received the name Cyclopses, from the one round eye which lay set in the middle of each forehead. Strength and honor and energy and craft were in their works. Then Uranus and Gaia bore 3 sons, mighty and violent, unspeakable Kotos and Gias and Briarus, insolent children, each with 100 arms on his shoulders, darting about untouchable, and each had 50 heads standing upon his shoulders. Over the crowded mass of arms and terrible strength was in their mighty forms.
And these most awful sons of earth and heaven were hated by their father from the first. As soon as each was born, Uranus hid the child in a secret hiding place in earth, and would not let it come to see the light. And he enjoyed this wickedness. But she, Gaia, fast earth, being strained and stretched inside her, groaned, and she thought of a clever, evil plan. Quickly she made grey adamant, and formed a mighty sickle, and addressed her sons, urging them on with sorrow in her heart. elfenliefde. Gaia says, "My sons, whose father is a reckless fool, if you will do as I ask, I shall repay your father's wicked crime, for it was he who first began devising shameful acts." She spoke, but fear seized all, and none replied. Then crooked Kronos, growing bold, answered his well-loved mother with these words: "Mother, I undertake to do the deed. I do not care for my unspeakable father, for he first thought of shameless acts." He spoke, and giant Earth was glad at heart. She set him in a hiding place, and put into his hands the saw-toothed scimitar, and told him all the plots she had devised. Great heaven came, and with him brought night. Longing for love, he lay around the earth, spreading out fully, but the hidden boy stretched forth his left hand. In his right he took the great long-jagged sickle. Eagerly he harvested his father's genitals and threw them in the abyss. They did not fall from his hands in vain, for all the bloody drops that leaped out were received by Earth. And when the year's time was accomplished, she gave birth to the Furies, and the giants, strong and huge, who fought in shining armor with long spears, and the nymphs called Melia on the broad earth. The genitals, cut off with adamant and thrown from land into the stormy sea, were carried for a long time on the waves. White foam surrounded the immortal flesh, and in it grew a girl. At first it touched unholy Cytherea. From there it came to Cyprus, circled by the waves, and there the goddess came forth, lovely, much revered, and grass grew up beneath her delicate feet. Her name is Aphrodite among men and gods, because she grew up in the foam, and Cytherea, for she reached that land, and Cyprogenus from the stormy place where she was born, and Philomedus from the genitals by which she was conceived. Eros is her companion. Fair Desire followed her from the first, both at her birth and when she joined the company of the gods. From the beginning, both among gods and men, she had this honor and received this power. Fond murmuring of girls, and smiles, and tricks, and sweet delight, and friendliness, and charm. But the great father Uranus reproached his sons and called them Titans. Titans. Huge Titans. For, he said, they strained in insolence and did a deed for which they would be punished afterwards. At night bore frightful doom, and the black cur, and death, and sleep, and the whole tribe of dreams. Again, although she slept with none of the gods, dark night gave birth to blame and sad distress, and the Hesperius, who out beyond the famous stream of Oceanus
stand the lovely golden apples, and their trees he bore the destinies and ruthless fates, goddesses who track down the sins of man, and gods and never cease from awful rage until they give the sinner punishment. Then deadly night gave birth to Nemesis, that pain to gods and men, and then she bore deceit and love, sad age, strong-willed strife, hateful strife gave birth to wretched work, forgetfulness and famine, tearful pains, battles and fights, murder, killings of men, quarrels and lies and stories and disputes and lawlessness. Ruin, both allied and oath, who brings most grief to man on earth. When anyone swears falsely knowing it. And Pontus' firstborn child was Nereus, the honest one, the truthful. The old man is called this name because he never errs, and he is gentle and remembers right, and knows the arts of mercy and the law. Then Pontus and Earth produced great Thomas, proud Porkis, and Cito with her lovely skin, and Eurybe with her heart of steel. And Aeneas and Doris, lovely haired, daughter of Oceanus, circling stream, begot and bore in the unfruitful sea their children, most beloved of goddesses. Proto, Eucrante, Dao, Amphryte, Eudore.